Now, how will farming and food production around the world cope in a planet increasingly damaged by extreme weather? It's been under discussion at COP in Dubai. Alvaro Lario is president of the International Fund of Agricultural Development.
For us, COP is a platform to really advocate for more investments into climate adaptation. The Leaders' Declaration on Sustainable Agriculture, Resilient Food Systems and Climate Action has put small-scale farmers and food systems at the top of the agenda. And for us, we really want to make sure that that translates into specific investments. And as an example, we're really investing with a lot of our partners into climate adaptation and small-scale farmers. And we are really announcing a number of different initiatives related to that. And there's a dual challenge with agriculture. On one side, you have in Africa more than 70% of the production done by small-scale producers. Also in Southeast Asia, as you mentioned, 1/3 of the greenhouse emissions are coming from agriculture. A lot of it actually is not coming from the small-scale farmers, but it's coming from the bigger farms, from the bigger production. What we need to make sure is that we're also able to produce food in a resilient manner, with the resources we have, with the right water infrastructure, but also with managing soil, diversifying crops. So it's not only what we produce, but also how we produce it. And for that, I think we need a lot of investments in sustainable agriculture and on climate adaptation. Currently, we know that only 0.8% of the climate finance is going to small-scale farmers. However, we're talking about hundreds of millions of people who are really losing their livelihoods after many of the extreme weather events. So it's a puzzle to us why adaptation is not at the top of the agenda. We talk a lot about mitigation, hard infrastructure, but for that, and especially in developed economies, there's enough financing, especially from the private sector. In the case of adaptation, we see very little financing and even less going to actually agri-food systems. So the question is, how can we make sure that more and more of that financing is reaching the people and changing their lives, rather than only focusing on the mitigation and on the harder infrastructure? What is very clear, and we have learned over the last years, is that we need to advocate and to change how we consume, so responsible consumption, and also how we can actually produce food with nature. That means integrating the environment, access to water, soil management, what type of food we are producing, and really making sure that we are also increasing the ability to produce fruits, vegetables in a sustainable manner in many of the developing economies, so that then they are not vulnerable to really the shocks, so that they can be food sustainable in a way that does not depend on many other countries. For that, we need more local production, but we need to count more and invest more in the small-scale farmers to achieve that.